Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the Earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Earth signs, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Earth signs, your spirit guides are coming in. I can feel them tunneling my ear right now. Excuse me. I hope that you're doing well. I am doing these readings based on a question that I had to ask myself this week, which was, what are my dreams trying to tell me? So that's what this reading is about today. On my desk, just want to show you this beautiful lodolite crystal. It's also known as garden quartz. It's an absolutely beautiful crystal, and lodolite is good for grounding energy, kind of keeping us settled, keeping us grounded. Because this reading is all about the dreams and the subconscious, unconscious realms, I just wanted something that would balance that energy out. And this beautiful crystal comes from a company called Live True Healing, and it's run by a wonderful friend, and you can find her live sales on Instagram, and that's absolutely a plug, because if you saw how many crystals, if you saw how many crystals I have in my room, it might upset you because I have so many. But each one of them serves a really beautiful spiritual purpose, and I love them. So that's absolutely a plug for Live True Healing. And I hope that you will consider her for your crystal needs. So let me show you the decks that I'm going to be using today. Of course, the Dream Decoder for the overall energy. The Oracle of Mystical Moments. There's a Tarot of Mystical Moments and there's an Oracle of Mystical Moments, and both are so gorgeous. And for the Tarot, the Radiant Wilds Tarot deck. This is for the Earth signs, please. Spirit. For the Earth signs, what would you like to tell the Earth signs? Okay. Being lost and losing something. Being lost and losing something. So in this inquiry that I was doing this week, I was telling a very close friend that I don't have fun dreams like other people seem to have. At least that's my perception. Maybe that's not the case, but my dreams, I don't do cool things like fly or, you know, do these kind of feats of magic or whatever. In my dreams, I'm always inside of a building, and I can never find the exit. I've been in all sorts of buildings in my dreams, and I can just never leave. Or if I'm trying to leave, I'm with somebody else, and I need them to be able to leave, and I can't find them, right? So this is kind of elucidating that right now. Being lost, losing something. Dreams about being lost or trying and failing to find something or someone are obviously anxiety related. Can stand in for a broken or interrupted relationship, abandonment, losing touch with yourself. I also see this, this kind of spiraling energy. It makes me think of the movie Vertigo, kind of loosely. Alfred Hitchcock film. It stars the amazing James Stewart. There's something relevant about the name James. Your name could be James, or you could be dealing with somebody named James. I say this only because I was out with some dear friends yesterday, and I met their child for the first time, and his name is James. that's relevant. That's very relevant for somebody. The movie Vertigo is, it's very convoluted. You know, it's kind of like a murder mystery. But he starts to lose touch with reality in that film. Art literally becomes life. So there could be this sense of disorientation you could be experiencing in your dreams. And the purpose of that perhaps is to call you back into a space of where you feel most grounded. What is it that actually makes you feel truly seen, truly safe in life? Okay, so let's get some oracle cards on the table. 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier. Past, present, and future. Amazing. This card showed up in the same spot for the fire signs. Beautiful. Very windy outside. Spirit wanted me to tell you. Why did Spirit want me to tell you that? Maybe because you could need some fresh air because you've been feeling kind of trapped. So it's, what's the best way to ground ourselves? To be out in nature. Okay. Earth signs. One more card. Okay. Okay. So, very first card in the past energy, the same as the fire sign. So if you have fire sign placements, you may want to watch that reading. My home is my castle. My home is my castle. Number 39, which reduces to an 11, the Justice card. Things coming into balance. Okay, what I'm seeing from this card is completely different than what I saw in that other reading. Right, there's an ornateness here, there's a complexity here. The things happening kind of behind the headspace may suggest something happening in the psyche. But there's also this separation and isolation of this entity right here. So it's like I see a disconnect. But what I'm really drawn to is the shape. Wow, it just got really bright. It's the shape of her elbow. It's like, it's making me think of a pose that I did in a Pilates class the other day. I was just talking to my sister about this morning, about Pilates. The thing about the practice of Pilates that I'm discovering is, one, it will challenge you physically and emotionally. It's a mind game. Just like yoga, I think, is a mind game. It's mind over matter. Thank you, Spirit. So there's something about mind over matter. Thank you, Spirit. That's like really, really important. That it's just it just feels awkward, right? And some of the poses that I was doing where we were having to use resistance training to whatever, to strengthen our muscles or whatever, very small movements, but they're somewhat awkward. And there's this awkwardness that I feel in your energy in the past, like you were having to conform to something to try and fit in. And then the sunlight came through, so it's like that expression, don't dim your light to fit in, don't dim to fit in. Like, are you purposefully making yourself small? Look at how small this figure is. Do you feel small? Are you making yourself small? And then trying to kind of fit in and hide away, kind of blend in. It's clarified by the Five of Wands. Five of Wands talks about, or can talk about, inner chaos and conflict. Bending over backwards. See? Like yoga, like Pilates. What? You would think, because the card was on the table, that I would have put that together. I didn't put it together until just now, which Spirit's laughing at me because it's like, how obtuse are you? It's like, okay, I hope that it doesn't diminish what I just said. Like I came to some kind of profound revelation by the shape of this woman's like elbow, but like I really didn't put it together. That's so funny. My spirit guides are funny. They're just laughing at me. And now my crown is like itching and they're just laughing at me. So it's fine. Five of Wands talks about chaos and conflict. It's kind of like stepping all over ourselves to try and get somewhere. But it's almost kind of like when you're working against yourself, there is resistance. So in the practice of Pilates or yoga, when you're using your own body as the resistance, it actually strengthens you. So it's not all bad. It's not all doom and gloom. It's this idea that you're building up, you're fortifying yourself. You're fortifying your strength. But you're also perhaps dealing with, you could be making it a little too hard on yourself. I do see this sense of isolation. And I don't think that it's preferable to you. I don't actually think that you want to be isolated out from the rest. I'm going to get a clarifier on my home as my castle. Because look at it, right? From the perspective of the viewer, when we're looking kind of down on this spiral, you stick out like a sore thumb. There's no blending in, and it's vulnerability. I have a clarifier on my, thank you, my home is my castle. Seven of Swords, interesting. Again, sticking out like a sore thumb, right? That's the only black color in this whole dynamic here. Seven of Swords talks about trying to gain the advantage, but in a way that does not cause a lot of disruption. The original depiction, or at least the Rider-Waite depiction of this card, is like a soldier that's stealing swords from the opposing army, and doing it in a way that is sneaky, in a way that is under the radar, not trying to call attention to oneself, but in fact, all I see is calling attention to the things in isolation. There's almost even more attention on it. I'll give you an example of like this weird phenomenon that now has become a social experiment. So, you know, I of course have a day job that I love. Sometimes I don't know if it loves me, but I love the people there. And we have like a cafeteria, and like, everybody's busy. I'm not saying everybody's busy, but like, I just get anxious and I just kind of want to eat and go back to work, right? And so I've kind of refused to sit down in the cafeteria. I'll get my food. Sometimes it's hot in there, and sometimes I just want to stand in the hallway outside the cafeteria, and I'll read some of the bulletin boards they have, and just kind of, I'm only going to be standing there 10 minutes anyway. Like, I'll just pass the time, then shovel food in, and then just leave, right? When I tell you how weirdly uncomfortable that makes people, it's confounding to me, because in no sense does this affect their lunchtime. They're free to go sit down and enjoy their leisurely lunch however way they want to do it. But there is not a single day that I can just stand there and mind my own business that somebody has to comment on the fact that I'm standing in the hall and kind of want to be alone and just eat my food and leave. Someone has to comment without fail. And then they follow me out into the hall. So now there are a whole bunch of us in the hall, because they're wanting to talk to me or something. I don't know. But it's bizarre. Because I don't know if they think that I'm lonely or what it is. It's just like, no, I'd actually just like to be alone. But they can't, they see something in isolation, and they can't help but comment on it. They can't help it. So there could be something like that here, that people are pointing out to you the fact that you're alone. And that's making you feel perhaps vulnerable. I don't feel vulnerable. I mean, I kind of feel annoyed, but I also know that, like, people mean well and they just want me to relax. I'm like, you know what would make me relax? If you left me alone, you know? All right. What's going on in the present energy? Well, this is beautiful. Number 34, which reduces to a 7, the Chariot card in the Major Arcana, Cancer energy. The word is abracadabra. Abracadabra. It has some kind of, I think, Kabbalistic origins. No. Is it something from Islam? I can't remember. Please forgive me my ignorance. Abracadabra is in some sacred text that if you, like, break it down, it's, like, very, very holy. So just please forgive me my ignorance, because I can't remember what it is at the time, but it's a very significant kind of tone. And when we say abracadabra, it's like a tone that's emitted, a frequency. In kind of layman's terms, it's a expression of magic, that we point our magic wand and say abracadabra and manifestations will appear. So you could be greatly manifesting at this time, but there's a hesitancy or a trepidation here. 5 of Cups. That's 2 5s now you have in your reading. 5 of Cups talks about needing a change of perspective. Needing a change of perspective, right? That maybe if you feel like you're down here, if you kind of distance yourself from it, you can find your way out. But oftentimes the 5 of Cups represents a sense of feeling sorry for oneself, feeling that there's a lot of loss, and not recognizing that there's still treasure to be found. There's still a sense of hope in a situation, and trying to, it's almost like I see you like wanting to be like, abracadabra, I'm immediately out of this situation, right? For me, I mean, this is like how I feel about my student loans, right? Like, I just wish I could just abracadabra them away. I mean, I have manifested that, so it is what it is, but sometimes can we just have a magic wand and just let it spill away from us? The Hierophant in reverse and the Knight of Cups. Get this energy, Hierophant in reverse. That's your third 5, Earth signs. If you've been watching any of my readings, you know that I cannot stand 5s. 5s are all about the in-between. The Hierophant card, though, in the Major Arcana, it's Taurus energy. So Taurus, you showed up in your own reading. The Hierophant talks about structure, talks about someone who is like a conduit between this world, the material 3D world, and the spiritual world. Can also talk about sacred text. I feel like somebody should look that up. I mean, if you're interested in the origin of abracadabra, I feel like there might be something revelatory for somebody in that, or interesting. The Hierophant card speaks about looking to someone for guidance, for structure. And here you are again, kind of isolating yourself out away from that structure and trying to look for something that fuels your heart space. The Cups energy is all about emotions and love and empathy, compassion. And all the Knights of the Tarot, they're messengers. They bring in the message of love, of possibility, of magic. You could be this Knight of Cups too. It's almost like I have so much love to give, and see, this character is almost like throwing that rainbow up into the sky. I feel the sense of freedom here. You could be in your present energy. You could be really, really trying hard to step out of this sense of being entrapment. Because, well, you know what I see here? This was your past energy, right? 7 of Swords. I see 2 rainbow energies, but the way that the rainbows look is significant. This one feels a lot more organic. There's color gradation. And this one is very rigid. So you're trying to break out of that rigidity. Right? You're trying to break out of the confines that were perhaps created around you. You know, maybe this is something from childhood where you were just always taught that you had to be one kind of person, one kind of way, and you're kind of breaking free from that and trying to manifest something new for yourself. Essentially, this is magician energy, right? What is in the future potential? Weaving flowers, number 33, which is a master number. However, it also reduces to a 6, which is the Lovers. So there's a beautiful synchronicity there. Let's talk about this Weaving Flowers card. It's always interesting when you can't see the eyes in a card. It could be a sense of coyness. Spirit's giving me kind of a stranger message, but you have to be careful, because if this is an energy that you have grown accustomed to, then when you experience a kind of freedom, you might run away from it. So what does that mean? Because, you know, okay, let me finish that one thought. So this is a very extreme example, but Spirit's giving it to me, so I'm going to give it to you. Like if somebody is in an abusive relationship and they finally are able or have the courage to break it off with that abusive relationship and then enter into another relationship and that one is abusive, it's kind of like learned behavior that that person associates love with abuse, because it's not because they think that it's good for them, it's just that that's the attachment that they've made in their heart with what love is. And it seems crazy to an outsider, but we've all fallen into patterns of repeat and patterns of stagnancy. All of us. There's not a single person in my life that I know that hasn't had some issue with that, right? That's just the human experience. That's a very extreme example, but it's this idea of if you kind of grew up with these rules and regulations and standards that somebody else inflicted upon you, then in a way that's all you know. And even if your soul feels trapped by it, once you release yourself, there might be this tendency to gravitate towards something like that's similar to it. And Spirit is cautioning you against that, because in the future potential energy, this weaving flowers, I see it as like, let's say they're like crocheting flowers, but almost like it's like rising water, right? It's like so that I can disappear. But it's clarified by this card. It's not what you want. For me, this particular Lover's card, because it's so out in the open, everything's so out in the open, it's a freedom card for me. It's like two divine partners coming together and choosing one another. It's a choice card. Major Arcana, it's the choice card. You know, can you feel this sense of safety while also allow yourself to be seen? Let's get a clarifier on the weaving flowers. Look, you see? Ten of Swords. This is somebody's response to what I just said, because I said, can you allow yourself to be seen? But when you've allowed yourself to be seen before, the confines showed up again. And now you're just like naked and exposed and vulnerable. And that is the fear. And with the 10 coming in the upright, 10 of Swords, right? This just absolute decimation and leveling. It's time to go back to the Ace. It's time to move past this energy to a place of knowledge and epiphany, revelation. That's the Ace of Swords. Spirit, can I have one card of advice for the Earth signs? Six of Wands in the reverse. This is a card of victory, public recognition. And you got it in the reverse. Don't dim to fit in. Yeah. And you were born to stand out. Right? And that's, Spirit is showing me you're trying, it's almost like This might not resonate with everybody, but I just feel like somebody out there just wants to be invisible. But by doing so, you're trapping yourself. And you're creating this boundary around yourself. This is not an easy energy, but it's kind of what your dreams are wanting to, you know, they say that in our dreams we're trying to work through problems, right? This is not a forever problem if you don't want it to be. Anytime I read tarot, it's just getting a pulse, taking the temperature of what's happening in this moment from whenever you're watching this message. You absolutely have the power to change and to allow your truest self to shine through. Now, who you allow it to shine through for, that's your business. But for me, it's like, what a shame if you didn't show people how wonderful you are. That's my opinion. That's your reading, Earth signs. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Earth signs.